You're smiling at your phone, thinking, this might be it. But have you asked the questions that matter more than the butterflies? In Islam, marriage isn't just about love, it's about purpose. And saying yes to the wrong person can lead to a lifetime of silent pain. It's not about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone right. So before you say yes, pause. Because Allah doesn't just test us with hardship. Sometimes He tests us with a proposal. In this video, I'll share 5 questions every Muslim must ask before saying yes. These are the questions that protect your deen, your heart, and your future. Stay till the end, because one of these questions might save you from a lifelong regret. Before you fall in love with their smile, fall in love with their salah, because the one who neglects Allah won't hesitate to neglect you. In Islam, the foundation of any relationship is the connection with the Creator. You're not just looking for someone who loves you. You're looking for someone who already loves Allah. Because if they're loyal to their Lord, they'll be loyal to you. But if they disobey Him without hesitation, what's stopping them from crossing boundaries with you? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "If someone whose religion and character you are pleased with comes to you with a proposal, then marry him." Notice the order. Deen before anything else. Not looks, not wealth, not vibes, but deen. That's the compass that guides the rest. You might think, but what if they're still figuring things out? That's okay. We all are. But there's a difference between someone struggling but sincere and someone comfortable in disobedience. A person who wants to improve is on the path, but someone who justifies haram as normal isn't just walking away from Allah, they might take you with them. Look beyond the surface. Do they pray consistently? Do they care about halal and haram? Are they mindful of modesty, honesty, and responsibility? These are not just nice qualities. They're signs of a God-conscious heart. And a God-conscious heart is the safest place your love can live. Think long-term. Will this person help you get closer to Jannah or distract you from it? Because love that isn't tied to Allah fades fast. But love that begins with His name, survives trials, grows stronger in hardship, and ends, not at death, but in eternity. So before you say yes, ask yourself, if this person had no looks, no wealth, no status, would their relationship with Allah still be enough to attract me? If the answer is no, then your heart might be chasing a risk, not a reward. Let's be honest. Are you really in love? Or just afraid of being left behind? Because fear can wear the mask of love. And faith? Faith gives you the courage to wait for what's right. Too many people say yes, not because they're sure, but because they're scared. Scared they'll never get another proposal. Scared they'll be too old. Scared of being judged by others. But marriage should never be built on fear. Because what starts in fear usually ends in regret. Faith teaches us to trust Allah's timing, even when our heart is tired. Fear screams, time is running out. But faith whispers, nothing will reach you unless it's already written for you. You must ask yourself, am I rushing into this just to escape the silence? Sometimes we accept someone who doesn't align with our values, just because we're tired of waiting. We lower our standards, ignore red flags, and call it sabr. But patience doesn't mean accepting what's wrong. Patience means trusting Allah when nothing makes sense, yet still holding on to your worth. Remember, desperation makes you settle. Faith makes you selective. Desperation says, maybe this is the best I'll get. Faith says, if Allah closed a door, He's saving me from something I can't see. The one who waits for Allah's plan never ends up with less, only better. There's a big difference between choosing someone out of contentment and choosing them out of panic. When you say yes from a place of panic, your heart will never find peace, because you didn't choose with clarity. But when you choose with peace from within, you feel it in your soul. It just feels right. So before you agree to anything, sit with your fear. Ask yourself, if I wasn't worried about time or pressure, would I still say yes? If the answer is no, then you're not choosing with faith. you're reacting out of fear. And that's not how believers make sacred choices. Allah doesn't just test us with heartbreak, He also tests us with proposals. Sometimes the wrong person comes first, so you learn how to recognize the right one. Don't let fear push you into a future that was never written for you. When you choose a spouse, you're not just choosing a person, you're choosing a path, a direction, a future, a legacy. And if you're not thinking beyond emotions, you might end up with someone who shares your heart, but not your purpose. Because in Islam, marriage isn't just about falling in love. It's about walking toward Allah together. Many people fall for personalities, the laughter, the charm, the good conversations. But they forget to ask, do we share the same vision? Because someone who makes you laugh today might hold you back tomorrow. If your mission is to grow spiritually, serve others, and live a meaningful life, and they just want to coast through life chasing comfort and status, then your hearts might connect, but your paths will collide. You have to look deeper. What drives them? What wakes them up in the morning? If your dream is to build a home centered on faith, filled with dua and Quran, and their idea of life is just about entertainment and ease, you're not just different, you're incompatible. It's not about judging them. It's about being honest with yourself. Can you really walk into the next chapter of your life hand in hand when your destinations are not the same? It's not that your visions have to be identical. You don't have to want all the same things. But your goals should align in a way that you can support each other. If you want to open a charity and they want to teach Islamic studies, that's powerful. That's purpose working together. But if one is building a life that revolves around pleasing Allah and the other doesn't even care to ask what Allah wants, then no matter how much you love them, there will always be tension under the surface. The truth is, most people never even ask themselves what their own purpose is before getting married. They chase chemistry, attention, or the fear of being alone. But real compatibility doesn't come from good vibes. It comes from shared values and a common vision. You can't build a palace of peace with someone who sees your dreams as too much. The problem isn't love, it's misalignment. A person who doesn't understand your purpose might unintentionally pull you away from it. They'll ask you to compromise, to tone it down, to fit into their comfort zone. And slowly, without even realizing it, you'll lose pieces of yourself. You'll start shrinking your vision just to maintain peace. And that kind of peace is too expensive. When your vision and their vision align, everything becomes easier. You remind each other of prayer. You build routines around faith. You grow together and push each other toward goodness. You fall sometimes, but you rise together. That's what makes marriage beautiful in Islam. Not just love, but shared purpose. Not just affection, but direction. Before you say yes, ask yourself this: would I admire this person's life, even if I wasn't in it? Would I still respect their choices, their habits, their mission? If the answer is no, then maybe you're not in love with the person. Maybe you're just attached to the idea of being loved. Real love isn't found in fleeting feelings. It's found in the harmony of two people walking toward Allah side by side. Sometimes the rejection you cried over was actually protection. The heartbreak that broke you saved you. The person who left, they weren't meant to stay. Because Allah sees what you don't. And sometimes He doesn't just close doors, He slams them. So you don't walk into something that would have destroyed your peace later. It's hard to accept in the moment. You make dua, you put in effort, you see the signs lining up, and then suddenly everything falls apart. It feels unfair, confusing. You ask, Ya Allah, wasn't this supposed to work? But Allah, in His mercy, was redirecting you, not punishing you. Because what looked perfect on the outside was hiding a pain you couldn't see. Maybe the person you were chasing was emotionally unavailable. Maybe they had habits that would have suffocated your soul. Maybe they would have delayed your growth, your faith, your connection with Allah. But you couldn't see that because you were too focused on the feeling, not the reality. And Allah, out of love, saved you from what your heart couldn't walk away from on its own. We often romanticize people, thinking love will heal everything. But Allah knows that love without deen, without emotional maturity, without true intention, it turns into chaos. And so He blocks your plans, not to hurt you, but to heal you, to teach you, to prepare you for what's better. Have you ever looked back at something you begged for and thought, Alhamdulillah, it didn't happen? That's the proof. That delay, that redirection, that disappointment, it was never a rejection. It was a divine mercy, a lesson in disguise, a protection you didn't realize you needed. Because Allah is never random. He doesn't remove something from your life unless it was going to hurt your soul. And if He's delaying your marriage or keeping you single longer than you planned, maybe He's not just working on the other person. Maybe He's working on you too. Fixing your heart, strengthening your faith, building your boundaries. So don't rush His plan. Don't force a connection He removed. Don't chase a bond He broke. The one who's meant for you will never need chasing, because they'll come with ease, with peace, with clarity. Not confusion, not constant pain. You may not see the hidden pain now, but one day you'll thank Allah for saving you from it. Because when the right one enters your life, you'll realize why everyone else had to leave. And that's when you'll understand. Allah wasn't being silent. He was saving you, gently, powerfully, perfectly. In the journey to marriage, most people are looking outward, searching for signs, ticking boxes, chasing timelines. But the most powerful signs aren't always loud. They're subtle, quiet, hidden in your tests, your delays, your redirections. And above all, they're hidden in your own heart. Sometimes Allah delays your marriage, not because you're unworthy, but because you're being preserved, protected, prepared for something better than you imagined. Every closed door, every unanswered dua, every painful goodbye, it wasn't a failure. It was a filter, a way for Allah to remove what would have harmed you and make space for what will elevate you. But you have to trust Him, not just when things are easy, but especially when they're unclear. Because your timing might feel perfect, but His timing is always divine. And when you finally stand next to the person He wrote for you, the one who fits your soul, strengthens your deen, and walks with you toward Jannah, you'll realize why the wait was worth it, why the heartbreak was necessary, why the silence was sacred. Marriage is not just about companionship. It's about alignment, about choosing someone who reminds you of Allah in your hardest moments. Someone who doesn't just hold your hand in public, but makes dua for you in private. Someone who doesn't distract you from your path, but walks beside you, step by step, toward the akhirah. And before you say yes, before you give someone your heart, ask yourself the questions that truly matter. Not just, do I love them, but do they lead me closer to Allah? Not just, are we compatible, but are our visions aligned? Because emotions fade, looks change, but purpose sustains love, even when the feelings fluctuate. If you're still waiting, be patient, prepare yourself, cleanse your intentions, and trust that what's meant for you will come with clarity, not confusion, peace, not pressure, barakah, not chaos. The one Allah has written for you won't just match your vibe, they'll match your soul. And if you found value in this video, if it made you reflect or gave you clarity, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because we're building a space here where your heart, your faith, and your questions are honored. Every week, we bring content that speaks to your soul through the lens of Islam, purpose, and real connection. So subscribe now and join this journey with us, because your story is just getting started.